Now, thank you for coming tonight, Monster Young Professional. For those of you that are new and don't know, for a decade I was a high school women's basketball coach. One of the things that I became known and famous for was engineering people to win. So I was teaching every player the 7 habits of highly effective people, the principles of good to great, the 5 dysfunctions of teams, the 5 disciplines of a learning organization. And the more I poured into the players, the more we won. And the more we won, the more people wanted to know what I was doing. Here's a big lesson. I want to get you guys to the point that you're so good at what it is you do that people from all over the world would pay good money to learn how you're doing it. Does that make sense? Become so good at what you do that people would literally pay money to watch you work. You say, well, that's a foreign concept. How many of you have ever went to a sporting event and paid good money for it? How many of you ever went to a concert and paid good money for it? You do realize you're paying to watch them work, right? They're working. You're paying to watch them work, okay? So when you become really good at what it is you do, world class at it, there will be people that come literally from all over the country that pay to watch you work. Now, next weekend, I'm doing a retreat with Tim Grover. Tim Grover was Michael Jordan's personal strength coach his whole career with the Bulls. He was so good that Michael Jordan paid him to not work with anybody else in the NBA. Jordan said, I'm paying you, but you can't work with anybody else in the NBA other than me. I'm the only person you can work with. That's how much Jordan valued this guy. Then as Jordan got older and Kobe Bryant came into the scene, because he'd worked with Jordan, Kobe Bryant wanted to work with him. Dwayne Wade wanted to work with him. So these guys could have been paying no telling how much money to be personally trained by this one person. So then after he's trained all these top athletes, now he wrote a book called Relentless. And now all he does, he's still training athletes, by the way. And now he goes around the country. He's coming next weekend to work, and we're going to do a retreat together. Now, what would you give to know what's in his mind? What would you give to know how he teaches people how to be relentless? What would you give to know what it's like working with Jordan, maybe the greatest athlete of all time at that time, Kobe Bryant? You understand what I'm saying? So now people are paying him just to hear what he's got to say. Okay? You got to get in your brain that when you go to work and your whole objective is to just survive today, you can't hold these two things in the same hand. You can't say, well, I just want to make it through the day, but I want to be world class. Right? You can't say, well, I'm going to be average, just kind of barely get through, but I'm also going to be world class. I got to get you thinking that part of what you're doing right now is building this arsenal of skills that at some point in the future people will pay you a lot of money for that. Maybe just to hear you talk about it. Maybe just to hear you pontificate about it, whatever, okay? So that's how I got to get you thinking, okay? But to do that, we got to start instilling some things in you. Does that make sense? We got to start instilling some things in you so that you have this. So when people started asking me what I was doing with the kids, that prompted me to start writing books. And I would tell you, every single one of you need to start thinking about writing your own book. Kevin's already got one that he's written. Let me tell you what it does. It forces you to get clear on what you believe. You may say, well, I don't have anything to say. I don't know what I'm going to say in a book. It don't matter. Your first book's going to suck anyway. Right? Listen, I don't even sell my first book anymore. That's how much it sucked. Like, you can't even buy it. Like, I discontinued it. But I wrote 12 more after that. And every book, like I was in the studio this morning cutting the audio to my new book, Inside the Mind of a Monster, and I was like, dang, this is good. Like, man, this is the best book I've ever written. But it's 13 books into it. You understand what I'm saying? First couple books suck. Should that stop you from writing one? So I wrote my first book at 25 years old. So what I'm telling you is you should start, because why would I want to write a book? To become a person of interest. I wrote a book to explain what I was doing because so many people wanted to know. I'm like, I ain't got time to explain it. Let me just write a book on it, and you can read the book, right? Well, here's what I didn't know when I wrote that book is when I started getting phone calls to speak all over because I had an asset. Everybody see that? I had an asset. Now, tonight we're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to talk about, how to attack your day. We're going to talk about how to move toward a dominant focus. We're going to talk a little bit about confidence. Okay? And then I'm going to show you how I attack a day. Because this is very important. What are you laughing at?
The way you attack a day.
Yeah. Because here's the deal. I believe in playing offense versus defense. I got to get you in a mindset of proactive activity every day. Well, if me just telling you that, you're like, what does that mean? Does that mean I wake up early? Does it mean I exercise in the morning? Does it mean this? No, it's really a series of actions that are coordinated that I take every day. Does that make sense? And what they're doing is they're compounding on each other. Okay, Susan, you could turn that air off for me. Follow what I'm saying? So what I do is I take a series of calculated actions every day, and because these actions are coordinated to each other and they're mapped out in my planner, I'm very effective with my time. And it is the power of these compounding actions that produce something. Does that make sense? Selling is a game of probability. You can drive up the probability or you can drive down the probability based on one thing, the level of action that you take. Everybody see that? 98% of people I meet do not plan their days. They don't have a plan on how they come into a day. They're completely reactive to the world. They do not have a dominant focus, which means something they're pushing toward. They do not have a series of actions that move them toward it. So they're just wandering generalities out in the world. They typically end up on the short end of the stick, and then they blame everybody else. Like, how did I end up with this bad luck? Luck is a function of action. Would you agree? That's why you heard the saying, the harder I work, the luckier I am. The harder I work, the luckier I am. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, okay? Now, I'm going to work through the handout. So if you got any questions at all, at any time, just stop me and ask me. Okay? I'm here to help you. Like I said, I believe in, to me, this program, this young professional program is much needed. I was on the phone with Liberty University today. My buddy Hugh Freeze, who's the former head coach at Ole Miss, is now the head coach at Liberty University. So he's a new football coach there. One of their professors saw me speak years ago in Chicago, and he's like, man, we have got to get your stuff at Liberty University. Like, I want to put it in my classes, but the reality is all 20, how many thousand students go to MTSU now? 26,000? 27,000? When I went, it's 23 or 24,000. Every one of them need to know this, what I'm talking about. I went to college for 9 years to get 3 degrees. Last week, I got a note. I'm 42 years old. Last week, I got a note that said, congratulations, you have now officially paid off your student loans. I'm 42 years old. I'm like, great. Because I've been paying on that student loan for a long time. You pay all that money and you get a little note about that big. One little lousy congratulations. Right? So what I'm teaching, I went to college for 9 years to get 3 degrees. None of this stuff I'm teaching you, I didn't learn in any class. Okay? I want you to think about that. I went as far as you can go. Okay? Like 300-something hours of college credit, and they never taught any of this stuff that I'm teaching you. So, tonight I want you to fill in the blanks. How to attack a day and how to attack your life. First thing we need to attack our day is something in the future. We call that something in the future a dominant focus. A dominant focus, if you'll write this in, is a single tangible outcome. It is a single tangible outcome that can be measured in a 30-day cycle. It's in the future. Okay? Now this is going to become very important because without this, we don't know the difference between a high value of our time and a low value of our time. We're just out there in the world just trying to make it. We're not moving toward something. Does that make sense? When I was an assistant coach in basketball, I had one dominant focus. Guess what that dominant focus was? To become a head coach. When I became a head coach, I had one dominant focus. What was it? To win a championship. Everybody see that? So a dominant focus is a single, tangible outcome I would like to drive, typically in a 1-year cycle as measured in 30-day windows. Everybody see that? So for example, my dominant focus this year in my business is to generate $10.5 million. That's a big goal. That's in total contract value, sales. To do that, I basically have to sell $875,000 of coaching every 30 days. And if I hit it every 30 days, times 12, then my company will sell that much in total revenue. Everybody understand? Okay? Without this, I'm just out there in the world messing around. So you need a tangible outcome that you'd like to drive at some point in the future. Could be a year, could be 2 years, could be 3 years. But it's something to work toward. So I take that and I break it down. I could break it down into a quarterly goal. I could break it down into a monthly goal. I could break it down to a weekly goal. And ultimately, I break it down into a daily goal. This is where my action is. Every day I take action to try to hit my monthly number, so I hit my quarterly number, so I hit my dominant focus. Does everybody see that? Every day I take action. So if you're following along on your notes, a single tangible outcome that can be measured in a 30-day cycle. This helps us understand the difference between a high value of our time and a low value of our time. Right? See, I don't know what a high value of my time is if I don't have a goal. So think of it this way. Every day, there is a high value of my time and a low value. This is any activity that moves me closer toward what? My goal. So let me give an example. Lakin's here at the office. We got 8 or 10 hours today we're going to spend with each other. We could play on Facebook. We could goof off. We could talk to friends. We could talk about the weather. We talk about why it rains so much in Tennessee now. We could talk about what's going on this weekend. We got all kinds of things. Ask Lakin, who works with me every day, if I talk about any of those things. No. If at all we have any social interaction during the day, it maybe is 5 minutes. And that's just because every now and then I like to be just a human being versus a superhuman. So every now and then I'll joke with people, say hi to them, talk about things. But what am I focused on when I'm at work? See, my family, I told you about, my wife and my daughter are banking on me coming home tonight and giving them a better life. Which means we need money. We need to produce. We need to create. A lot of people go to work, goof off all day, complain about how much money they make. They're involved in all kinds of low-value activity. And they don't even understand, man, they have no goal or purpose in life. Like they have no goal, like they're not moving toward anything. You understand what I'm saying? This tells me if you're a low ordinance thinker or a high ordinance thinker. Now, and there's no specific age. There are people that are 50 and 60 years old that have no focus. So they're not moving toward anything. Now, I want you to understand about human nature, because I've studied every type of motivation you can think of. Progress motivates a person. It's one of the natural motivators for a person. So if you've ever felt stuck in your life, static in your life, it's incredibly frustrating, isn't it? Because you're not moving toward anything. You are naturally motivated when you are taking action toward something big. So, when you think about this high-value activity versus low-value activity, this is where most people spend their time. This is in any activity that you participate in. It's got nothing to do with moving you closer to this. Now, is there a time for you to have low-value activity? Yes. There's a time to goof off, be a kid, have fun. There's a time for that. It's just not if you're trying to do big things. This is why if you ever met a big-time person, what's one of the first things you note about big-time people? They're busy. And they don't mess around. Like they don't have time to participate in drama. They don't have time to they have no time for any of that stuff. You know why? Their goal of where they're moving toward is so big, they're like, I ain't got time to mess around with this. Right? People that have little goals got all the time in the world to mess around in all kinds of things. But when you get around big time people, it's like no nonsense. I got somewhere to be. I got something to do. I got somewhere to go. Get on board or get out of the way. So I asked Tim Grover, I said, Tim, tell me like what it's like playing with Michael Jordan. I said, how did Jordan force people to get better? But he said, first, he modeled the behavior. Like when you're around Jordan, you naturally want to do what? Be better. He said, but if you didn't get better, he would come to you. Like imagine one of your coworkers coming to you, and he would say, look, we're going to win with or without you. You can either get on board and play up, or you can get the hell out of our way. That's what he said Jordan would say to people. You either get better, or you get out of our way. Because we can't win with you like this. Does that make sense? Imagine working with somebody that forced you to get better every day. Versus somebody just let you be average. Okay? Now, so I want you to take a second and I want you to think about, I want you to write down what is your current dominant focus. What is your current dominant focus? Now, it can be a sales number. It can be a revenue number. It can be a unit number. It can be something you want to attain, but it's got to be tangible, which means it can't be qualitative. It can't be intangible. It can't be like, well, I just want to have a better year this year than I had last year. It's got to be like, I'm going to retrieve something and bring it home. It's something, listen, it needs to be big. Doesn't need to be small. It needs to be like, man, this is big. Okay, so take a second and write down what yours is. There are times during the day that you participate in low-value activity. This is any activity you do that's got nothing to do with moving you closer to the number. Like I said, some of y'all, we invite you to come work with me for a day. If you want to work with me for a day, just come and sit, just follow me around all day long and see how hard I work. I'm not saying that to brag. I want you to know, like it ain't, like I'm just going all day long. I'm trying to get as much activity as I can in a day. Follow what I'm saying? Then we'll go home and see my family. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do it all again tomorrow. I just don't have time to waste. Okay? I wasted a lot of time from 20 to 30, guys. I wasted a lot of time being hungover. I wasted a lot of time goofing off in bars. I wasted a lot of time not having enough purpose. Okay? So now at my age, at 42, I'm like, I ain't wasting any more time. All right? I wish somebody would set me down when I was 20-something and said, look, kid, you got a bunch of talent. Go get it, right? There's no telling where I would be today, guys, if somebody had this talk with me. But nobody ever had this talk with me. Okay? Nobody ever had this talk with me. Never, okay? So I just want you to get clear. This is important because without this, we're just messing around, okay? Now, let's look at the next thing. Every action you take is either driving the probability of selling something or driving down the probability of selling something. And sometimes you're just selling yourself. You're just selling yourself, okay? So selling, write this down in your notes, is presenting an idea. Selling is nothing more than presenting an idea to another person. You need multiple ideas to present and multiple doors to walk in. Okay? Now this is a concept a lot of people don't understand. When you hear the word, who do you think the world rewards the most? I'm just going to put it in a real simple concept. Do you know the people the world rewards the most? The people who take initiative. The people that take the most initiative get rewarded the most. So initiative is a derivative of the word initiate. Initiate means I move something. I take action on something. Like nothing has to happen for you to take action. See, a lot of people think, well, my boss has got to do this. Well, my boyfriend's got to do this. My girlfriend's got to do this. Well, my parents have got to do this. well, we got to get this in, we got to get this in. You got to get out of your brain that something has to happen for you to take action. Does that make sense? All you need to take action is initiative. So selling is taking the initiative to present ideas to people. So I present an idea. William, I got, next week I'm doing $1 million follow-up at my new lodge. I'm going to teach you a 7-touch system before, during, and after the sale. And it'll probably help you make a couple $100,000 more if you really get this down. Would that be of interest to you? Now, he's going to say yes or what? No. So if he says, no, I got my follow-up down, no worries. On April the 19th, I'm going to be doing person of interest. This is where you attract so much business to you, you never chase a lead the rest of your life. You become the go-to player in your space. Does that interest you? Yes or no? Oh, well, I got Michael Jordan's coach coming next weekend. Would you like to come to that? Now look at how many ideas I'm presenting to William. I got so many ideas, I don't care. So here, I'm going to keep going until I find an idea that works for him. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Now, what if I sit over here, which is what most people do, and I don't initiate any of that, and I just wait on William to call my office? Okay, now here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's a good example. You've been in the car business before. We know our boy down the street. So I use this example all the time. I drive a Denali. I have my wife has a white Denali. I have a black Denali. And I've thought about upgrading to an Escalade. Okay? I've called over to the dealership, and I told them that I'm interested in upgrading to an Escalade. Here's what they do. They sit over at the dealership, and they call me. Hey, Coach Burt, just want to get you in here to the dealership. Just want to check out what you got. Just want to do this. Right? It's like calling me. Now, tell me, if you were coaching them, how to present a better idea. Through taking initiative. Okay, take a video. There you go. Either one of those. Here's what they should do. Coach Burt, we're going to drive our newest Escalade over to your office. Do you want it with a tan interior or black interior? We'll make sure we bring it over to you. We're going to drive it over to your office and let you take it for lunch one day. We're not going to make you work hard and come over to the dealership because we know you're a busy guy. We're just going to drive the vehicle to you. If you like this one, we'll go ahead and pull up the papers, come back to your office and let you sign them. That's taking initiative. They're less than 4 miles from here, but they just sit over there all day long and make outbound phone calls versus taking that initiative. Everybody see that? Selling, you got to get this in your brain. Selling anything is taking the initiative to go out into the universe and present ideas to people. That's all selling is. The problem with most people is they only got one idea. Well, they only got one product to sell. Selling yourself requires you to take initiative to get in front of people and initiate and say, I can help you. Right? Now think about this. If I got a dominant focus, I move toward that. Selling is presenting idea. You need multiple ideas and multiple doors. Now, when I say multiple doors, here's what I'm really saying. These different doors are different ideas. So I want you to notice one thing that I do, that's a strategy I use. I do stuff for couples. I do stuff for kids. I do stuff for faith. Okay? I do stuff for entrepreneurs or business owners. What I do is I say, I don't care which door you come in, just come in the door. Once I get you in the door, I'm going to show you enough value that you want to engage with us at a different level. What if I only had one door to come in? What if you're single and all I do is stuff for couples? Everybody see that? We need to create a singles program too. Right? We really do. That's another door to walk in. My point to you is, how many of you feel like you only got one door to walk in? You got to present a lot of ideas to people. Here's the number I want you to write down. For every 30 people you talk to, only 4.8 of those people will be interested in what you got. For every 30 people you share an idea. If I share an idea with Kevin, he may or may not be interested in an idea. I got to share an idea with 30 Kevins to find 4.8. So I always joke around and say, you got to kiss a lot of duds to find the studs. Okay? You got to kiss a lot of frogs to find the princes. So, yes?
The number equate to those that have sought you out?
Nope. Nope, that's a good question. That number is related to what's called the law of diffusion and innovation, which says 2.5% of the population are innovators, which means they see something and like it and take action quick. 13.5% of people are what's called early adopters, which means they see it 1 to 3 times and take action. Then you got innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, laggards. Okay, so if you look at the number of times, so let's say Kevin is early majority. He probably has to see something 3 to 7 times before he takes action on it. If he's an innovator, I share an idea with him and he goes, I'm in, first time. If he's an early adopter, he has to see it 1 to 3 times. If he's early majority, 3 to 7 times. Late majority, 7 to 15 times. Okay, laggard, he ain't never going to see it. We just need to give up on Kevin. Everybody see that? This is when you're chasing somebody. They ain't never going to see it. They ain't never going to get in, right? So when you see sales stats that say it typically takes 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time, basically when you go 7 to 15 touches, you touch the whole spectrum. You touch everything from innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority. When you go 15 touches, you touch that whole spectrum. If you go on more than 15 touches, most likely they're not interested. They're never going to be interested in it, okay? Now, so when you think about this, the first sale you got to make every day is to your own self. The first sale you got to make every day is to your own self. So what sale do you need to make to yourself every day?
Get up and go work, your dominant focus.
First sale I make every day is, here's what I tell myself every day. I am a person of interest. People are counting on me to show up whether I feel like it or not. See, it's very popular right now to not show up when you don't feel like it. Let me give an example. Lakin, how many people signed up for this? 15. How many? 15? Are they all here? Okay, so where are...
There was several others that told me they were coming.
So where are they? Drinking beer? Goofing off? Watching television? What's more valuable, being here learning how to produce or goofing off? So for some reason, their feelings told them something else. What's raining outside? You follow what I'm saying? It's dark. I'll just stay home. It's a good night to stay in. One of the biggest things I look for in a person is a person that does not listen to their feelings. Your feelings will lead you wrong almost 10 out of 10 times. Okay? Do you know how many messes my feelings have got me in my lifetime? Especially as it relates to women. Okay? My feelings have led me wrong a lot. So here's what I tell myself every morning. I am a person of interest. People are counting on me to show up whether I feel like it or not. My positive energy is going to be greater than any negative energy I face today. I will become a force of nature. I tell myself this every day. What am I doing? I'm selling myself. First sale you got to make is to your own self every day. Nobody else is going to be sold on you when you're not sold on yourself. Don't you think I can detect if you're low on confidence? Don't you think I can detect when you're insecure? Don't you think that I can detect when you don't even believe in your own self? I'm like, man, I'm not buying anything from this bozo. They don't even believe in their own self. So we're going to get into confidence tonight. What if you don't have any confidence? Here's what I would tell you. You can borrow some from somebody else. How do you borrow some? Watch videos, listen to podcasts. Borrow their confidence for the time being, okay? So first sale you got to make is to your own self. Okay? First sale you got to make is to your own self. So let's get into confidence. Somebody give me a definition of confidence. There you go. There you go. Okay, good. You're right. Confidence is the memory of success. Like a psychologist would tell you, confidence is the memory of success. But what if you've gone a couple months and you hadn't had any success? What's your confidence look like? So how do I build confidence? Some of you are athletes growing up, and you ask, how does a person build confidence? Say again? You get around people who've got confidence. The number one way to build confidence is through repetition, which is why athletes do something over and 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 over. And they do the same thing over and over. They don't do different things. They do the same things, which is why they build confidence. Well, the same thing is true in your sales career. You build confidence by doing something over and over and over and over and over and over. So if I got to get on the phone with people and I'm confident, the way I become confident is not by reading the book. What do? I get on the phone and I talk to a bunch of people every day. If I want to become confident in public speaking, like my wife is terrified of public speaking, and she's got a new book out. And I'm like, you got to get over this. Like, you're never going to be able to get your message out to a lot of people unless you feel comfortable speaking, right? So now I got her doing podcast. Now I've got her trying to do these things. She still gets all nervous. And I'm like, look, you do about 100 of these, you're going to feel completely confident. You're going to feel like you're not going to have this insecurity anymore. But you first got to do 100 of these. You don't do one, you do 100. So confidence is the memory of success. Let me give you another definition. It's an internal knowing that you can create or manifest what you see in your brain, even when other people don't believe you can. Where would that internal knowing come from? Repetition, repetition, repetition. Everybody see that? And what's going to happen is there's going to come moments in your life that are like true game-changing moments for you. And they're going to come out of nowhere. You're going to be like, oh my gosh. Like, now I'm here and I'm on this stage and I'm either ready or I'm not ready, right? I'm either ready or I'm not ready. When opportunity comes, you're either ready for it or you're not ready for it. All based on your repetition. Does that make sense? Okay? So if we know what builds it, do you think this is one of the number one things you should have learned in school growing up? How to build confidence, yes or no? The most confident people typically win the most in the world because confident people take risk. Confident people take opportunity. Confident people move towards something. Insecure people, what do insecure people do? That's right, they contract. So new opportunity comes up, insecure person says, oh, well, what if they don't like me? What if I don't go? What if I, right? Here's the deal. Confident people just get right in the middle of it. They're like, it's okay. Confident people are not intimidated by other people. Okay? If we know what builds it, how many of you have ever lost your confidence at some point in your life? Yeah, everybody has. Everybody has. I was a great baseball player. You play baseball, right? I was a great baseball player growing up, and then I went to play with a bigger level, like better players. And I played shortstop, and man, I had a bad game, and I had like 2 or 3 errors, and the coach started getting on me. And then I went through this whole cycle of, man, maybe I'm not good enough to play with these guys, and maybe they're better than me. And man, it just went downhill fast. Then I had a bad game. Then I had another bad game. Then I got benched. I could not regain my confidence. You know, and I had never quit anything in my life, and I don't want to quit. I'm like, man, I've always been a good player. Then I start blaming people. What's the coach's fault? Because he's the one beating up on me every day, right? Like, why can't he help me here? I didn't have a person go, no, just relax. You just need to get better. You need to practice and get better. But my confidence just went like this. I was real confident, then I just went straight down. And I never recovered from that. I made it through the season, and I never played again after that. Never. Right? Because at that time in my life, once I lost my confidence, I didn't know how to get it back. So the easiest thing for me to do was just not play anymore. Because now I don't have to worry about what? Failing. You go through a bad breakup in life, you go through a heartbreak, you go through a letdown, the easiest thing for you to do is not get back in the game. Because you're like, I ain't losing again. Because I don't want to feel that way again. Right? So what you do is you don't even place yourself back in the ballgame. You just give up. And until you understand, you're gonna lose some. Right? Does that make sense? You're going to lose some. You're going to lose 100% of the time that you don't even get in the ballgame. Right or wrong? That's one thing Wayne Gretzky always said. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I don't know what I can do until I go out and do it. But I got to have a bunch of confidence to go do it. Right? I make decisions every day that scare me to death. I was looking at a $2.5 million building today to build a greatness factory. And I just bought a $1.3 million building down the road. And we got a $1.6 million house in Florida. These are all investments that I'm making to build long-term plays. But if you don't think I'm scared to death every time I do one of these deals, what do you think I'm thinking? What if it don't work? What if we don't keep selling? What if we lose all the money? What if my wife and I have to live in an apartment? What do we have? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I go through all these, and it scares me to death. And then I remember, no, you will find a way to make it work, because that's what you do. You follow what I'm saying? That only comes from confidence. Now, how do I give that to you? How do I just transfer my confidence to you? Okay? So look at number 2. What erodes confidence? Erodes means chip away at it. Chip away at your confidence. What do you think kills confidence? Failure. Trying something and failing, which every big-time person knows is just part of what? It's part of life, man. You're going to try and you're going to fail. You're going to screw things up. Like, do something. Okay? That's one. It erodes it. I tried and I failed. Inaction erodes confidence. Just sitting back and just being scared to death so you don't do anything. What about listening to the opinion of other people? That will erode your confidence, especially if those people are negative towards you. Here's one thing that I have figured out is the more volume you get and the more people you touch and the more people you try to help, the more resistance you get. Okay? I remember a time when I was coaching 6 people, and I don't remember ever having any problems. Like, we all liked each other. It was all friendly. They wanted to be there. I wanted to coach them. Like, there was no problems whatsoever. Now we're servicing 700 to 1,000 people. Every day there's a problem. Every day there's somebody that ain't happy about something. Every day there's somebody that don't want to pay their bills. Every day there's somebody, like the more people we help, the bigger our problems get. Every day. Now, at some point, and I remember saying this to Cardone, I remember saying, we're servicing 700 people, and he's like, 700? He's like, why don't you try servicing 200,000 people and see how many problems you got every day? Like get your brain around servicing 500,000 people and see how many issues you have every day. He's like, you got a very expensive babysitting service is what you got. That's what he said. He's like, you're just babysitting these 700 people. They're paying you to babysit them. He said, but try babysitting 200,000 people and what kind of issues that you have. So you don't start to see how ugly and mean people can really be until you start helping a lot of people. If you're just helping a few people, you don't see that. You start helping a lot of people, you get to see how mean people can be. I mean, I look at comments when people talk about me, my wife, my daughter. I'm like, man, why are people so mean? I'm like, I'm a positive person. Like, I try to help people every day. And it's just a human nature. It's the ugly side of people, right? It's the dark side of people, Tim Grover would say. So what erodes confidence is if you do what? Do something and it don't work. You guys see, this is a great example. I saw Imagine Dragons performing concert one night in Nashville. And I was not an Imagine Dragons big fan. I went out of obligation. Somebody got me a ticket in a suite. And I'm like, okay, I'll come. And I go and I'm thinking, we'll listen to a few songs and I'm going to get out of there. And I get there and I'm watching this dude perform and I'm like, dang, he is good. Like, not just good, he's real good. And I'm thinking, man, this is one of the best concerts I've ever been to. Like, I walked out of there like a huge Imagine Dragon fans. He performs at the national championship game. And he had some vocal issues, said he was sick, and so I didn't get to watch the game or something, and I was looking on Twitter, and there were thousands of comments about how bad Imagine Dragons were at that deal. So this is one of the biggest stars in the world. He's probably made $50 or $60 million this year, and he's sitting there that night, doing a video, man, I had vocal issues. I tried to fight through it. I'm sick. I could tell. He's like, the only thing that really matters to me is my wife and my daughter, because he just felt attacked by thousands of people. And this is a huge star, but it notably affected his confidence because of all the negative comments. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm telling you that what takes years to build up can take seconds to tear down. Confidence is something you build for years, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's like, whoa, where did all my confidence go? And it's typically because your confidence was tied up in another person. Like, you let another person control your feelings. You let another person control your confidence. They said you weren't smart enough or good looking enough, or whatever the case may be. And because of that, you kind of said, okay, And it's a big mistake people make. So what erodes confidence is the opinion of other people, the good opinion of others. All right, final piece. What maintains it? What's that? What maintains it? What builds it is preparation. Right? Like, do you prepare? Okay, so what builds it is preparation. What builds it is repetition. What builds it is consistency, like showing up every day, whether you feel like it or not. And here's one thing I'll say about Lakin. I appreciate the fact that she's tough. I appreciate the fact that she shows up every day. She's around people that are older than her. She gets pushed, but she keeps fighting through that. Does that make sense? Like she's growing up. Kind of see her like my daughter too, you know. And I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I want my daughter to like grow up and be tough, which means she's going to take a lot of hits. But I want her to keep fighting. Like you understand what I'm saying? Like I want you to, and part of this mental and emotional toughness you have, it comes from your confidence to just keep getting back up again. Even when you have a lousy day, even when you want to quit, even when you don't think you can take it anymore, like you just keep fighting through. Does that make sense? Wouldn't you say a lot of your peers probably like that? Wouldn't you say your peers, like people you run around with? How many of you have friends right now that you know have a lot of talent, but they lack that confidence? And you can see it in them. It's like, man, that dude could be great, or that girl could be great. They just lack that emotional confidence and toughness to keep bouncing back. Half of winning, I don't know who said it, 90% of it's just showing up, man. Every day when you don't feel like it. All right? Now, final piece of confidence. What maintains it? And I wrote a book on this called Swag, by the way. Swag is a slang term for confidence. People with swag, you can tell like when they walk in a room, man. When they walk in a room, you know, hey, I guarantee you when Tim Grover walks in next week, Mr. Grover as he likes to be called, there ain't going to be no doubt whether he's got some swag. Okay? If you remember what he said at the 10X Growth Conference, remember the first thing he said? He walked up on stage and he said, look, I'm the baddest MFer in this whole place. Make no mistake about who's the baddest man in this whole place. I am. He just walked in and said that. On stage in front of everybody. I'm like, okay. And he made me stand up at the end. That's the first time I met him. He made me stand. He watched my speech and he made me stand up at the very end. And he said, y'all see Coach Burt? This is in front of 10,000 people. He's like, he packages it up. He's a lot nicer than I am. He's a lot more friendly than I am. He's a lot more positive than I am. But he's like, don't make any mistake about it. Coach Burt is a bad man. He's like, I can sense it in him. What he was sensing in me was pray drive. Pray drive is the ability to see something and go get it. That makes sense? No excuses, whatever it takes. When you see that in people, like you can sense it. It's like a dog sniffing out another dog. It's like, man, this dude's got it. He's got a killer instinct. And that's a good thing, okay? What maintains your confidence? So what maintains it? Here's what I want you to write down. You need at least 6 to 8 ways to protect your confidence. You need to be doing 6 to 8 things every day to protect your confidence. How many of you have felt like all of your confidence was tied up in one thing, and that one thing was not going good? So life just looked very bleak, like sucked. Does that make sense? The problem is that at any given time in your life, there are going to be parts of your life that suck. If all of your confidence is tied up in one thing, and that one thing is not going well, then your whole life looks bad. For example, if you're a workaholic, all my confidence is tied up in work. What if work sucks right now? Therefore, my whole life sucks. What if all my confidence is tied up in another person, and they don't like me today, or they're mad at me today? Then my whole life sucks. So I learned this from a CEO that was running a $40 million company. He said, I protect my confidence, he said, in 8 to 12 ways. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? Well, I got physical confidence, so I'm in the gym, I'm working out, I'm protecting my body. I got mental confidence, I'm reading, I'm studying, I'm learning. I got relational confidence. I want relationship with my wife and my kids and my family to be in a good state. I got spiritual confidence. So every day I'm reading the Bible. I'm doing some spiritual activity. You know, and he said, and he started talking about friend confidence. I want good, healthy relationship with my friends. I got a good confidence in taking time off and rejuvenating myself. So he had all these ways, and he said, here's the thing, Coach. Typically, out of all 12 of these things, only 8 of them are clicking on every cylinder. But the fact that I have 8 clicking and only 4 not working, my confidence stays high. Everybody see that? And I've never forgotten that. So I try to protect my confidence in body, mind, heart, spirit, all 4 parts of my nature. When I'm working out more and I'm in great physical shape, my confidence is higher. When I dress better, my confidence is higher. When I'm around positive people, my confidence is higher. When my relationship with my wife and daughter is intact, my confidence is higher. When my spiritual relationship is right, my confidence is higher. Does that make sense? On any given day, one of those ain't going to be working right. One of those days ain't going to be working right. So my confidence is lower. So I just want you to think of protecting your confidence. Now just remember this. If you're in a relationship with another person, like me and my wife, my job is not to destroy her confidence. My job is to help her protect her confidence. Does that make sense? My job is to encourage her confidence, not constantly make digs at her, constantly be negative toward her, because eventually that will erode her confidence. Okay? That will erode her confidence. Any questions about these things so far? Okay? Now, what's the difference between confidence and arrogance, by the way? Yes? Okay, so arrogance is when your self-appraisal is much higher than your market value. That means you talk a big game, but you came back a big game up. Okay, arrogance is a huge turnoff to people. I want you to be confident, but I don't want you to be arrogant. Okay, so confidence, I know I can do it. I'm going to move toward this. It's going to be very attractive. Confident people are very attractive. Needy people are not attractive. So you don't want to come across as needy, desperate. It goes back to your confidence. I dated a girl once, one of the strongest women I've ever dated. And she said this to me once. She said, Michael, I want you in my life, but I don't have to have you in my life. And I thought that was an incredible statement. She's like, look, I want you to be a part of my life. I want to be, I want to be with you, but I don't have to have you to be happy in life. And I believed her. That made me more attracted to her. I'm like, man, she knows what she don't need me, but she wants me. You understand what I'm saying? And the fact that she was strong enough in her own personal confidence to say that to me. And here's one more. When early on when Natalie and I were dating, when we first started dating, there was another person, there was another woman that was in the equation that I also was attracted to. And this is a woman I thought I would be with. And we went out one night, and I paid more attention to that woman than I paid to Natalie. We were like in the very beginning stages of dating. Most women would have went home and just let me have it. Like, why did you pay attention to her? Why did you do this? Like, that was what I was expecting. Here's what Natalie said to me. She said, what am I not providing for you that would make you be interested in somebody else? Like, what am I not doing that I need to be doing that you would never be interested in another woman? Isn't that a strong statement? Like, she took responsibility for that. She said, look, that woman is a direct threat to our relationship. She's like, I see her as a direct threat to our relationship. Now, you tell me what I'm not doing, and I'll do it. Because I want to fight. I will fight for our relationship. And that one statement really won me over. Because I'm like, man, most women would have let me have it for paying attention to somebody else. She's like, look, she don't have anything that I don't have. What do I need to do? That was a confident statement from her because she took responsibility for that. You see that? That one statement, I was like, dang, that's strong. I'm attracted to confident people. Okay, if I detect insecurity in a person, I'm like, toughen up, like, let's go, right? So you want to be this person that like people look at, man, that's attractive, okay? Especially if you're single. The more confident you are, the more your chances are going to go up here, okay? Even if you're not that good looking, you're going to attract some good looking people. Okay? You look at my wife. How did I attract her? Now, let's finish on this attacking a day piece. So this is real critical. Does anybody in the room right now use a system to go into a day and attract a day? Attack a day. Anybody use a plan or system? All right, tell us about that.
I use the power list from Andy Priscilla.
Okay.
It's write down 5 things that you want to accomplish that day.
That's good.
Anything from small activities or
That's good.
your activity. And then once you do it for 21 days, consistently, you can mark it off the list. And if you get all 5 of them, you put a W on the C1 day.
Good.
If you don't, put it out.
That's good. That's great. So this is a simple plan to come into the day and accomplish something. Because remember, a natural motivator for us is what? Progress. So when I come into the day, every day, my day is already mapped out. Okay? So I sit down at night and I map out my next day. I spend 7 to 15 minutes every night doing this. That's all it takes, 7 to 15 minutes. Now, if tomorrow is important to you and you want to be a big-time person of interest, do you think it's worth spending 7 minutes tonight planning it out? Yes or no? I'm telling you, people fight me on this all the time. I'm like, look, big-time people of interest never come into a day not planned. Does that make sense? Their time is too critical. So they never just show up and go, what are we going to do today? They show up and it's like bam, 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 bam. So I'm going to show you 5 categories I use every day. So when I come into the day, my day always starts off typically with some type of exercise, and that's from moderate to intense. Every day, I start off with some spiritual activity every day. I typically read the Bible in the morning. I typically listen to a sermon every morning. I have certain pastors I listen to. That's just how I start my day. This morning I bike for a couple miles at 5:30. It's dark. It's cold. It's raining. I'm listening to something. I'm getting my mind ready for what my body's about to do. I get home. I spend 30 to 45 minutes with my family, and then I get going. Okay, and that typically starts between 7 and 8 a.m. So I typically up by 5:30. By 7 or 8 a.m. I'm going. I'm either here at the office or I'm involved in something. Every day. Any day I drag around, don't exercise, don't get up and do my routine. I feel like crap, and I'm not even close to productive. And I feel guilty, which is the worst thing about the whole thing. So I feel guilty, I feel sluggish, I'm not operating at a high cylinder, I'm sitting there mad at myself because I'm supposed to be a person of interest. I'm like, man, this ain't how people of interest do this. So that's how I start my day. Now, when I get going during the day in my planner, I'm going to give you 5 categories. And this is similar to what Frizella's doing, but I'm going to put these into categories. Every day when I come into the day, I got a hit list. And the hit list represents new opportunity. Typically associated with new money. New money. New money, new money, new money, new money. Okay? So typically when I come into the day, I got a hit list and I go, okay, these are people I can help with my services. Give me an idea what selling is again. Selling is presenting. Idea. You know Monster Young Professional? I drew this idea up on a napkin one night. I'm going to present this idea to the market. I'm going to coach young professionals once a month. They can get involved in Monster Producer. That's just an idea, right? Just an idea. So every day I come in, and let me show you what I looked at. This could come from your current base, i.e., Cole. I know Cole, but I got a new opportunity to present to Cole. So I pick up the phone and I say, I'm gonna call Cole Carmichael, and I'm gonna present an idea to him. He may or may not like that idea. Yes or no? It's okay, because I got what? I got more ideas. If I think he's interested in getting better and I'm interested in him, it's okay. Let's just keep going until we find an idea that works for you. Okay? Now, you're an attorney, yes? You do wheels? Who all needs a will? Everybody on planet Earth needs a will. So can you solicit or not solicit? Can you have a conversation with me about having a will? Oh, okay. This is real simple. Let me present an idea to you, Coach. Do you have a will in place if something were to happen to you? Yes or no? No. If we could help you do that, would it be valuable for you? I'll come to your office. I'll do whatever you need to do, make it easy on you. That's presenting an idea. Everybody see that? I present ideas all day long to current customers that I have. Hey, I've got $1 million follow-up next week. Hey, I've got person of interest. Hey, I've got Tim Grover. Hey, I've got this. That's just a new idea to offer people. Some people go, nope, don't like that. Nope, I heard that before. Nope, not interested in that. Some people go, yeah, sign me up for that. Right? Go back to the car dealership. Present an idea by just driving one of those Escalades over here. Coach Burt, let's take you for a ride in this thing. Let me present an idea to you. So my hit list is sometimes I'm calling my current base, trying to sell them something else. Or ask for a referral. And I'm real simple about this. Cole, if I've helped you get to a better place in your life, will you help open the door with some of your friends? Which is why Joe's here. That make sense? Referral. Second thing I'm calling on, if you're in a transaction-based business. Transaction-based business would be if you're selling a car or you're selling something, right? A real estate, a car, where it's a one-time transaction. My hit list could consist of me calling past clients. Sales stats show me 98% of salespeople never call a person back once the transaction is over. Although the transaction should be worth 5.7 referrals. Isn't that crazy? One stat in the insurance business, once you sell a person an insurance policy, how often and what kind of frequency does the insurance agent have with you? Then when you do try to file a claim, it's some big 15-round fight, which is why people hate their insurance agents. No offense to you, Mr. McAlexander. Here's what I'm saying, though. But you don't have to be like that. I would tell people, look, I would tell people when I'm selling them, Mr. McAlexander, let me tell you one thing people hate about their insurance agent. People sell them a policy, then they never hear from them again. I despise that. Here's what I'm going to do. After I get you a policy, I'm going to call you the day of, 2 days after, 2 weeks after, 2 months after. I'm going to check in with you every month, Mr. McAlexander. I'm going to have customer appreciation events, and I'm going to bring you back in to the fold with me because I believe in vested partnership. Sound like a good plan? Because I ain't like them other low-budget insurance agents. Everybody see that? Engagement. Number 3, my hit list consists of strategic partners. Strategic partners. You guys need to be doing more of this. You need to be strategically partnering. Brittany Brandon is in her coaching program, and she owns a women's boutique. She owns a women's boutique here in Murfreesboro. I come in one day, and I told Lakin, I'm like, look, get together with Brittany. Let's put on a women's event. Let's call it What Drives Her. That's an idea. Matter of fact, I stole that idea from another woman who told it to me not long ago. I'm like, that's a great concept. Let's have an event. Brittany, you go out and get all your women business owners. Let me do an event called What Drives Her at the Greatness Factory at your place. That's an idea. That's a strategic partner. Right? So I told Lakin, call over to MTSU. Get me on the schedule to speak to some more of these students. Initiate. Create an idea. Like we need some more strategic partners around here. Number 4 is direct leads. These are leads generated through a sales cycle, through marketing, social media. So when you say, if you come to work with me for a day and I get on the phone, I put my headphones in, guess who I'm calling? Guess who's in my planner? One of these 4 things. I'm calling current customers, I'm calling past customers, I'm calling strategic partners, I'm calling direct leads. That's it. Everybody see that? That's my hit list. Now, my second group of people I call every day is what's called my farm club. These are interested prospects. And I'm going 7 to 15 touches with these people. These are people that have indicated, okay? Now, let's go back to our car dealership. Come on, Bo. I could help, Bo lives in my subdivision. I could help him make $10 more million a year if he'd just be coachable. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. The problem with most people's follow-up, they use one method of follow-up. Phone call. That's it. You should phone call, text message, email, video message, tag, have other people call them, have your best customers call them. Like, how bad do you want opportunity? How far are you willing to go for opportunity? Is it one phone call? Because you know it's not have much conviction if you're only going to go one time. Do you really want opportunity if you're only going to call on a person one time and give up because they didn't call you back? So every day, I come into the day with 3 to 7 people on my farm club. I come in today with 3 to 7 people on my hit list. Okay? Third group I'm calling is what's called my top 25. This is very critical. I wish somebody would have told me this when I was 25 years old. These are 25 deep relationships. $25 deep relationships with people who can help you. So I try to build 25 relationships. I believe out of those 25 relationships, I'm going to get 3 referrals a year, so that's 75 new opportunities out of 25 people. Now, where do I find these 25 people? That's right. Out of all the people I go through in a week, I'm going to find 25 that I go, boy, I love working with them. I'm going to boil that down to a list of 25 people that I think are movers and shakers. I'm going to constantly stay in touch with these people. These are going to be like my VIP relationships. I'm going to love on these people, spend time with these people, call on these people, go to sporting events with these people, go to the lake with these people, have dinner with these people. I'm going to constantly stay involved with these 25 people because these 25 people are going to bring me 75 new opportunities every year. So during my call times during the day, I've got 3 of my top 25s on there, and I'm banging on those people and loving on those people. This strategy is the strategy that could win you the most money. 25 people who love you, bringing you 3 referrals a year, you can make the most money out of this strategy. Most adults I coach do not have 25 relationships that are strong. They got 1 or 2. See, here's what I love. I'm going to go back to Grover. Grover's texting me like, how can I make this more successful? What can I do to help you? What do you want me to do to make this more successful? He understands the concept of building relationship with people. He's not a taker. He's a giver. He wants to make sure I'm satisfied with his partnership, which says a lot about him. It's not like just roll in there and take the money and leave, which is what some people do. It's like, I want to help you be successful. He understands this. The deeper relationship we build, we may do 10 events together, not just 1. He's got access to people I don't have access to. I got access to people he don't have access to. Why don't we build partnership with each other? Strategic partner. Everybody understand the strategy? 25 deep relationships? All right, let me give you one more and I'll finish right here. My 4th one, and everybody needs to be doing this, it's called the showcase event. This is where you are creating events yourself. You are the host of these events, and you are bringing people to a structure so you can exchange. Everybody see that? You say exchange what? Time, energy, resources, money. Now, this is one of my newest strategies that I use a lot. I create structures for people to come and exchange. This is a structure. A bus is a structure. An airplane is a structure. A house is a structure. A lodge is a structure. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to do is get you somewhere, get you around other people that are like you, which will only do what? Get you excited. Get you excited. Get you enthusiastic. If I was selling cars, I want to get you to the car dealership, and I want to get you there, and I want to get you excited around other people, and I say, let's all buy a car together. But I decrease the probability of selling you a car if I can't get you to the dealership. If I'm a real estate agent, if I can't get you in the house, I decrease the probability of selling that house to you. I got to find some way to get you there. So what I do is I come up with all kind of creative ways to get people somewhere. So last week I did a concept called Wealth Builders. And it was if you wanted to earn $250,000 and above of personal income, I'm going to do a private evening at the lodge. I open it up to all the monster producers, and we're going to have a discussion about wealth. What is it? How do you build it? How do you protect it? How do you build indestructible wealth? And that pulled in 25 to 30 people. Everybody see that? I created an event a few weeks ago called the Talented and Ambitious Networking Event. And I said, if you are young and hungry and talented and ambitious, come get around other young, talented, ambitious people. What happens when we get those people around each other? That's right. Money's exchanged. Because guess what? Some of them go, I'd like to bump up to a higher level. This is what it's about, hanging around people like this. I'd like to sign up for this. So we routinely have people jump up their coaching packages. We had a guy a few weeks ago, paid $7,500 to go with me to 10X. Part of the reason he went with me is because we took a private jet. He'd never flown on a private jet before. I never met him before. Came in, got on the private jet, we went to Miami. We're down in Miami, and if you can't have fun in Miami, then you just can't have fun. That's just all there is to it. Right, Susan?
That's right.
Miami changed Susan's whole life. Changed my life, too. She is a different Susan after Miami. But we went to Miami, and we're out there just hanging out one night, having dinner, having drinks. One of our higher members in our 25K levels walking around telling people, who's in the 25K level? If you're not in the 25K level, you should be. If you sign up tonight, I'll pay half of it. I'll pay $12,500. So he's walking around talking to people. The guy who comes in at $7,500 leans into me and says, hey, go ahead and bump me up that 25K level. So we go from 0 to 7,500, from 7,500 to 25,000. We have an event at the lodge a week later. He says, go ahead and bump me up to the 60,000 level. Now we went from $0 to him investing 7,500, from 7,500 to him investing 25,000, from 25,000 to him investing 60,000. Then the next week, I presented an idea to him. Hey, why don't we do a sponsorship package where I endorse you? I'll endorse you on my podcast. I'll do some events with you. We'll put it together. Why don't we go ahead and bump you up to the 100,000 level? The Monster Centurion level. You know what he said? Sounds good. Bump me up. Now, would that have happened? Would any of that have happened if we didn't go to Miami together, be at the lodge, be involved, have structures, right? Would any of that happen if I just picked up the phone and called him? Probably not. So what's the lesson there? You need to be creating things for people to come to. And they can be for fun, right? Like you sell flooring. Here's the deal. I don't know how good the flooring is. The number one thing you need to be doing is trying to pull me somewhere where I can see that flooring, where I can get my mind around, okay, this is what I want to put in the New Greatness Factory. You need to sell me an idea first. Don't sell me flooring. Sell me on, Coach, let me show you 5 ideas that I think will be incredible for that New Greatness Factory. Now, what you have to do to get me, do you have a showroom or something? Okay. What you got to do is you got to come up with a creative way to get me there. So what could he do?
Bring in a bunch of people to,
What?
okay, we're gonna have a monster event over at the flooring.
That's exactly right. Hey, Coach, I'm going to introduce you to my boss, the managers, the whole sales team. We'd like to do a private event at our place, whatever, for you to come in and speak to these people. Maybe we get 5 more monsters out of it. Now I'm looking at you like, okay, this guy's thinking. Because here's the deal. If you don't pull me to something, I'm just out here in the world just messing around. Does that make sense? I'm just over here. I ain't got it. You ain't got my attention. So you create something. If you look at Cardone, 10X, these conferences are nothing more than a big way for him to pull you to him. The real sale is not the ticket. The real sale is what? what he sells you when you get there and the attention that he gets. That's the sale. It's not we're going to make a bunch of money off this conference. It's we're going to create something to get you somewhere, to get you excited so you can buy something else. That's exactly right. 30,000 leads. So it's just bait. Right? Everybody understand what I'm saying? So if you saw how many things I do in a month that's bait, come to my house, fly on the jet with me, get on the bus with me, come to Miami with me, come to this, come to that. Why do you think I do all this stuff? Because I need a lot of door. I'm trying to pull people into my funnel. Does that make sense? I can't sell you anything unless I get you in the door. Okay? So, the last concept there is create showcase events to get people excited about whatever it is you're selling. And then, once you get them there, have something else for them to buy. Everybody see this? So what do we have on, what do we have on your form? 2 more events that I'm doing. The follow-up and the person of interest. Now, just so you know, those are $2.99 events that we're doing for young professionals at $1.99. Okay? So if you want to go to one of those, you just can't tell the other people we gave it to you at $1.99. But if you want to go to those, okay? Now, if you already paid for the full amount, then we'll give you credit towards something else too. Okay? We'll give you credit towards something else. But here's the thing. The Grover, we're about to roll out a special for the Grover event. Probably tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And it includes maybe $1 million follow-up plus Grover. I think they were talking about it today. It includes a day pass to Grover plus that. Okay? So we need to pay attention to what we're doing here. Now, what's the purpose here, Mr. McAlexander? The purpose is get you somewhere, get you excited, and have something else to offer you. Does that make sense? This is a mistake I made for years. You know how much money this cost me? Not having a plan. Like if you did do my will, you don't need to stop there. You need to say, hey, coach, glad we got your will taken care of. We also need to handle this. Okay, I can't go back and do a prenup now that I'm married, I don't think. Can you? Post-nup? Okay, see. But here's my point. Here's what did he say? Post-nup, okay. I'm so glad we're filming this. But here's my point. Here's my point. You need to be thinking, like most attorneys will never think like this. Get there, do the will, that's it. That's all I got to tell you is a will. They should be thinking, okay, Mr. Burke, here's a few more things I could handle for you. And you let people have an opportunity to buy something there. Right there on the spot. That's a big mistake I made for years. Big mistake. Okay? Now, this is how I attack a day. People trying to figure out all the activity I do in a day. This is what I do every day. And I'm doing it through text messages and phone calls and emails, and I'm planning events, and I'm coming up with ideas, and I'm doing retreats. All I'm trying to do is circulate. When I take this much action, do you think I'm going to sell something, yes or no? I'm going to sell something. It's just a matter of how much it's going to be in a day. How much am I trying to sell? $10.5 million worth of this, which means I got to hit $875 a month, which means I got to sell a lot of stuff. Everybody see that? You see a guy like Cardone, they're doing $150,000 a day on e-commerce per day in online sales. Nothing but books and products and online sales, $150,000 a day. Here's the deal. If he can do it, I can do it. Right? That's how you need to be thinking. If somebody else can do something you want to do, if they're doing it, you can do it. Okay? You just got, it goes back to this confidence piece, okay? Now, does anybody have any questions for me tonight? Some of you are going to walk out here tonight, go back to doing tomorrow exactly what you did today. Or some of you are going to take this material you're learning, apply it, and go do something with it, okay? Which is going to help you produce at a higher level, okay? Is there anybody in here that's not in the Young Professional program right now? If you're not currently signed up. And y'all came together? Okay, good. So, Lakin, what's the opportunity for them on the Young Professional?
Like enrolling,
Yes.
$199.
Okay.
$199 each month.
Okay. So if you're interested in being in the program, that does get you access to the big boys and big girl program. That means, like tomorrow morning when I'm teaching Monster Producer, you have access to it. When I teach Cool Springs, you have access to it. When I teach at Hendersonville, you have access to it. So that basically gives you full access to my coaching program. And you may be sitting beside a person that's making $4 million a year. Does that make sense? Like the young guy who was here tonight, the mortgage originator, what's his first name? Greg. He had to leave. Greg, he's working with Carrie Ann Sear. Carrie Ann Sear is our top mortgage originator. She did $147 million this past year. That's ridiculous. And that woman is a beast. That he don't even know how lucky he is to work with her every day. You understand what I'm saying? I'm like, look, dude, you need to get who you're working with. Like you're working with somebody who is a freaking rock star. You need to be learning from that woman you need to be watching everything. Guess what she does every day? This right here. She's on my program, working my system every day. Every day. Today she was here doing an event, 50-something real estate agents. She couldn't even talk. She was doing it. 50-something, just every day she's doing something. So I'm trying to get you to a very high frequency. So if you're here tonight and you're interested in talking about being in the program, I'd be happy to talk to you. Lakin would be happy to talk to you. I need your help building this. We got 26,000 students at MTSU. How many of them you think need to know some of this stuff? They need to know it, man. It's an injustice. We need to have this room full of 50 young professionals every time we teach this class. We really do.
Stay committed to it, because just tell them you're going to come and
Yeah.
then not show up. It
Yeah.
hurts my feelings.
Yeah, that's right. Don't hurt Lakin's confidence. Okay? Because here's the deal. Like I said, I need your help. Let's say just bring people with you. So if you're interested in being in the program, you may look at that and say, man, $200 is a lot of money. I would tell you this. When I was 25 years old, I borrowed $2,500 from my mom to go to a 7 Habits of Highly Effective People certification. And I went to that certification, and let me tell you what it did. It changed my whole life. I learned those 7 habits, and let me tell you something. Those 7 habits have made me millions of dollars. And I paid my mom back every month like it was a loan because I didn't have the money. And when people ask me what was a single turning point for your life, 25 years old, borrowing money from my own mama because I was a high school teacher making $24,000 a year. And I went to those 7 habits, and that, I'm telling you guys, there ain't a day that goes by that I don't use those 7 habits. That changed my whole deal. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're looking at investments, the single greatest investment is in you. It's not in some technology. The single greatest investment you can make is back into your own learning, your own growth, your own production. That makes you a much more valuable asset to the world. Does that make sense? So if you're looking at being in the program, I encourage you to look at it. If you want to come to $1 Million Follow-Up, which is next Wednesday, okay, that's a chance for you to get enrolled in that. If you want to come to Person of Interest the 19th, then come to that. We got a few spots left in each one of those. Just make sure you let us know, okay? Any questions? Thank you guys for coming tonight. Yes, thank you. You ready to get that wheel taken care of? Oh, you got anything else?
Yes, I want to go ahead and put this on y'all's calendars, so go ahead and knock it out.
We know y'all are people of interest and y'all got things going on, so let's go ahead and get on your calendar.
March 21st is the next Monster Room Professionals coaching session here. Does 5:30 work with everybody's schedule? Does that seem okay with y'all?
It's harder to get out nationally.
I understand.
You just need an airplane, man.